Welcome everyone to another day trading psychology video. In this video, we will talk about an importance of day trading psychology versus importance of day trading strategy and edge. Because you probably encountered two different opinions across the board where one part of people are staking their life on day trading psychology as something which is hugely important, and there's a lot of books written on it. Mark Douglas, for instance. But then on the other hand, you have some people who are claiming that edge is almost as important, if not even more important than day trading psychology. So let's debate that. But first of all, before we start, for people who don't know what is an edge, let's try to define it. So edge is a probabilistic term, and it means that over a larger sample size of your trades, there's a higher likelihood of things going in your favor than not. For instance, let's say you take 1,000 trades, and each set of 1,000 trades that you take, 55% of those trades will go into your favor. That's an edge. That's an edge that you have over the markets because you can rely that 55% of times you will be right. But why do people think that this can be even more important than psychology? It is simply because even though you could have developed psychology pretty well in terms of day trading behaviors, if you don't have this edge, if you don't know what you're doing, so to speak, and if you're just taking some trades which are not well thought out because you don't know how to think about that stuff, you may lack experience, you may lack some knowledge, etc., you still may end up losing. But my take is sort of that you can, if you get psychology well, you can survive for as long as you need in the market. And this is the difference that I think is crucial to put the favor into psychology being more important than strategy and edge. Now, obviously, if you want to be a successful trader and a consistently profitable trader, you cannot go without edge. You cannot go without strategy, but also you cannot go without psychology. So both are required if you want to be a consistently profitable trader. But if you focus too much time on edge, especially in the beginning before you master psychology, there's a high probability that you are going to blow your account and that you're going to be taken out of the game completely. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to feel all the bad stuff. But let's say now that you are somebody who has mastered psychology and mastered emotions, mastered execution part of it, then you more likely you could say, hey, I'm in a stage where I don't really have a great edge, so I have to develop it. But in the meantime, I will be pretty grounded, I will be calm, collected, cool, and I will try to really survive for as long as possible to make my strategy work. And you could reduce your risk, and if it does not work for months on end, you will not get pissed off. And that's the problem with you having edge but not having strategy. For instance, there was a time a few years back where I was trading momentum stocks mostly. It was very hot at the time, and it was just sort of easier than some other edges and strategies. But I've lacked psychology, definitely. I did not develop it yet back in the day. So I had some really good streaks of some really good trades. But then my thought was, hey, this is going to last forever and I'm just going to grow out exponentially from here. And that's all because I was not rooted in reality. I was not calm and I had huge expectations. I was euphoric. And what happened was that in a day I blew out all the profits from 2 or 3 weeks and even more. and it was a pretty good number, right? So that's why I think it is so important, and that psychology is actually what matters more, especially in the beginning, more than edge and strategy. Because if you have your psychology good, in a good state, then you can spend a lot of time developing your edge. Even if you have a perfect edge, you cannot uh, afford to develop psychology along the way, because mistakes in edge, if your psychology is well, are controlled. You control them by being psychologically in a good place. But mistakes in psychological manner, even if you have a great edge, can be detrimental to your account and to your whole career. It's not just account. You don't feel good, right? And if you go this route that I'm proposing, uh, you feel great because you see the progress. You're not rushing things, and you can definitely not rush things in trading. That's for sure. So you're not rushing things. You're going day by day, uh, week by week. You're just objectively analyzing your results, making some adjustments, but never ever lingering onto some results, onto P&L. Uh, you're just looking at the raw data and you're trying to interpret it to the best of your ability. You're trying to make some good decisions, iterations, which is all important. And that's how you get uh, where you need to be in the end, and that's being a consistently profitable trader. Right, so that would pretty much sum it up. Again, my take is that you cannot go without any of these, but uh, you can go a lot a lot of time without edge if you have good psychology. And longer term, I think that probability of you succeeding in this career is much higher if you get your psychology in a good state first, and then develop an edge and focus more time on that. Because if you are an expert trader after 5 to 10 years, you may still need to work on your psychology, but if you have so good of an edge, uh, and that's why I think a lot of people are putting out these opinions about edge being more important than psychology. When you are at the stage where you have an incredible edge, you have incredible experience in day trading, then your edge is literally protecting you from some psychological mistakes. Because you can afford to lose a bit more on some trade because you're gonna make a killing uh, most of the time, right? But still, in the developing stages, until you are there, and that's 10 years after today, right? If you're not there yet, you definitely should focus on psychology, because you don't have, if basically what I'm saying is, if you need to choose right now, if you're underdeveloped on both of these fields, you should choose psychology. You choose psychology first. Alright, that would be all for today's video. Uh, Drop a comment and share your thoughts about how this video suits you. This is a raw thoughts format. I'm not really preparing some form of the content. This is just sort of a podcast style type of narrating, and hopefully it brings some value to you. So if it does, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and tune in for more.